Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. In parts 1 and 2 of my X-wing restoration I showed you how I took a old X-wing that I found at a flea market and made it look more screen accurate than the original Kenner and Palitoy X-wings. But it was pointed out by Bob Lowe's on YouTube that I could have gone the full hog and made it look exactly like Luke's Red 5 X-wing. So luckily in my toy spares box I have another X-wing here that was kindly donated to me by Tristan Howden, which I've already taken apart and cleaned. So I'm going to try and make this one look more like Luke's X-wing than the original Kenner and Palitoy X-wings did. So already I've taken this apart and given it a good clean. It was quite a filthy looking vehicle when it arrived, but taking it apart exactly the same as I did the other one and cleaning it, and it already looks better. This one has again some fairly bad yellowing along the side. Most of it's not too bad, but it's got sort of yellowing along the seams. There's a few marks on the bottom and some quite bad yellowing on this side. Now normally for de-yellowing I would bathe this in hydrogen peroxide solution in the sunshine for a few days, but I thought I'd try a different method on this which I've been working on, which is a lot simpler to do, and it means I don't have to soak the whole ship. I don't really want to make this look too white because I actually do quite like the sort of slightly weathered look that these whiter X-wings have, so I only want to de-yellow a few little areas. So the way I do this now is you can buy cream hydrogen peroxide. As you can see here, it's called Maximum Cream Peroxide, and it's a 12% peroxide, and you can buy this from well, any sort of chemist's or hairdressing place. I bought this from Boots. It costs £1.80 for a small tub like this. This is 75 millilitres. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to apply it, and we can see the results in a few days time when it's all sort of back to being as white as I want it. So what you'll need is some of this hydrogen peroxide cream and a Q-tip. I don't want to de-yellow all of this ship, I just want to de-yellow a few little parts, and I want to leave some of it still a little bit stained because it does work quite nicely, makes it look a little bit more sort of battle-worn. So what you do is get a bit of the hydrogen peroxide on a Q-tip and gently just dab it onto the areas. You can do this sort of quite liberally, you want to leave quite a large amount on there. But doing it this way means you don't have to sort of mix anything up, and you don't have to dunk the whole ship into a liquid. So I'm just going to go and put this over all the areas that I want now. So now I've covered all the areas that I want to de-yellow. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this for at least a day, and then I'll give it a good wash to wash off the dried sort of cream residue, and hopefully all of the yellow marks will have reduced quite substantially and it will look a lot nicer. And here we are a few days later, and as you can see the ship is looking pretty nice. I have not gone too crazy with the de-yellowing. I've left it still with a few little stains over it because I do quite like this sort of slightly rough finish. But as you can see, a lot of the sort of really severe yellow marks on the sides have gone, and it's generally looking a lot cleaner. So I'm pretty happy with how this has gone. It took a few days to do. I did a few recoats of the cream hydrogen peroxide, and in between washed it quite well, washed off the sort of the old residue and then put a new bit on, and I've not actually had to leave this out in the sunshine. You can do this without any sun. It just sits in a box in my room until it's dried off, and then you wash it off. So that's looking pretty good. So I can now go ahead and start sorting out some stickers that make it look like Red 5. Also I want to say another quick thank you to Tristan Howden, who's also now kindly donated a spare cockpit to go with this X-wing. So along with some guns that I've bought, the cockpit everything is ready and it's looking pretty nice. So let's go ahead and I'll design some stickers. So I ended up spending quite a lot of time researching Red 5 and trying to find enough good screenshots and images of Luke's X-wing to work out where the stripes and what sort of colouring it had, and in the end I was able to create quite a good sort of sticker sheet based on the images I could find. It's actually fairly similar to the original Kenner stickers, but there's a few sort of subtle modifications. So after a lot of work in Photoshop, this is what I've come up with. You can see that it has the basics of the striping from the Kenner ships, but I've also modified a load of stuff so that the stripes on the side are now no longer longer solid red. They've got a few little white marks in them, which also line up with the yellow stripe on the front of the X-wing. And there's also some blue details and little extra panels to go elsewhere on the ship. I've also created a few more sort of chevrons and other little sort of panels that are dotted around to make the ship asymmetrical, because the original Kenner X-wing was very uniform, and exactly what was on the left was on the right. So now it's just a case of applying these to the ship, and hopefully this should look exactly like Luke's X-wing. Well, I say exactly like, in a toy style, but exactly like the Luke's X-wing. So I'm about halfway through putting on the stickers, and it's always at this point now I get a sort of slight sinking feeling that they're not going to work. But actually in this instance they are starting to look pretty good. The first few that you put on, it just looks a bit plain and empty, but as you start to stick more and more on, it does start to come together. So as you can see here, this is the modified front strip. I've actually added an extra bit of detail to one side because Luke's X-wing clearly has a dark panel just to the left of his cockpit vision. So I've added that there, and then he's also got one dark panel on the side, on the right side of his cockpit. So I've done that, and then some blue striping around the top. I've so far only put the blue stripes on the top parts. I do have extra stickers to put on the bottoms, but it's just a little bit of a dull job to do that. So about halfway through, starting to look quite nice. As you can see, there's an extra bit of window detail behind the cockpit as well, which just makes it look a little bit more, well, just a bit more finished. So yeah, let's carry on, and I'll put on the rest of these stickers. So here we have the X-wing with all the red 5 versions of the stickers on. As you can see, it's looking quite nice. There's a few little extra details that I didn't put on my previous custom. So there's some blue lines along the front nose section, a few little bits of blue detailing around the engines, some extra details around the back of the cockpit, and then the asymmetrical stickers. So you'll notice that there's a dark patch to the left side of Luke's cockpit, and also the stripes on the side are no longer the same. So there's a red panel on this one, grey panel, grey blue panel on this one, and some extra panelling here, and then that's really it for the sort of fine detailing that makes this look like red 5. I previously did put some chevroning on the last X-wing custom I did, but I did it in yellow, so this time I've just changed it to red, added an extra little bit on the top of the cockpit. So overall it's fairly subtle, but it does look quite nice. I think I will go ahead now and put some of my custom battle damage on. It just looks too new and clean like this. I know some people don't like battle damage. I do. I think it adds something to these ships. So once I've added that, I think this ship will be done, and it'll look just about as good as I can get it. And so here we have the final ship. I've added small amounts of battle damage. I didn't use any of the large stickers that I'd created, so there's just a few little sort of burn marks on the wings and on the side here, and a couple of slightly longer ones on either side, and again small ones on the rear wing there, and a couple of little ones on the bottom side of the wings, just to add a few little bits of details. I think that looks pretty nice now, so I'm happy with that. That is the finished version of my Red 5 Luke's X-wing. And so why don't we compare it to the previous one that I've done, which is the just normal custom X-wing. So I'll just put them side by side here. Hard to show them on this camera because I don't really have a lot of space. Let's put the landing gear down if I find it. You can see it's a fairly similar looking ship. It's, as you can see, small amounts of detailing added to the sides, a slight change to the striping on these sides, and then some extra detailing around the cockpit section, if I can just about show you there. So just some little bits and little blue striping. So it's fairly similar to the previous one I've done, but enough different that it is, I would say, noticeably Red 5 now. And here we can also compare it to the original Kenner X-wing. This is my original one that I've not modified. This is exactly how it came out of the box with the battle damage. As you can see, I think my one just looks a little bit more screen accurate now. I do like the original ones, I have to say. I never didn't think it was, it never was one that stuck out for me as a sort of bad model. I think the sculpt of this ship is excellent. It always has been a great looking ship. I just wanted to try some more sort of modern techniques on these stickers and try and make it look a little bit more screen accurate. So there you go, that is the end of my X-wing customs. This is the last video in this series. Hope that's all been of interest to you, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter and Facebook.